Hey.
Howdy, howdy.
Hey, I'm Will.
Hi, Will.
Yeah, I have an appointment at 1:30.
Yes,
I see
you're
that's in for feedback.
Senator.
Yeah,
Yes.
I see
Okay,
that.
great.
So we have a constituent here, right here, and 10 people. Is it okay if we
Absolutely.
crowd you?
Brian, Dallas.
Yes.
Come on in.
Thank
you.
What's going to do for you?
All right. So I have kind of assembled various people, known belief Christians, interfaith group for what I call a secular lobby day.
Okay.
Assembled from all across Texas to come here and speak on church-state separation.
Great.
The topic very important to us. So that's what we're giving voice to. So quick introduction. I'll let the VIP of the room, your constituent,
Absolutely.
say his piece.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much. So, my name is Bryan Hicks, and I'm in House District 122. And so I'm one of Mark's voting constituents. My zip code is 78260.
Was that Brian with an I or a Y?
Thanks for asking. It's Brian with a Y.
Okay, I'm glad I did. Out of habit,
I
started
don't
with
really
I.
care how people spell it, but it's nice when people ask. So, a little background. For over 40 years, I was an evangelical Christian, and I went to a private Christian university. I led worship at multiple churches over the years, and I was passionate about my faith and honestly trying to bring others into that same way of thinking. But in the last few years, after daily research into science, religion, history, I've completely shifted to a secular, natural worldview. As convinced as I had been with Christianity, I am now just as convinced, or more so, in a natural and scientific worldview. Now, I and a lot of other people believe kids deserve a fair education where they hear different perspectives and can make up their own minds. They shouldn't be pushed towards any particular religion in public schools, whether it's through prayer or, having the 10 Commandments staring them in the face. So I'm here today to ask Mark to help preserve religious freedom in Texas by voting to keep our government secular and neutral with regard to religion. As I'm sure you're aware, the Establishment Clause of our Constitution is written so that it applies to all citizens equally, regardless of their religious affiliation or lack thereof. We all have equal voices and equal rights. In order to ensure this remains the case, I'd like for you to vote against any legislation that gives preference to one particular religion over another, and vote for legislation that promotes secular government, equal rights, and evidence-based policy. So we're also here to make sure that our voices as secular voters are heard. According to the Public Religion Research Institute, this is PRRI, this is a study just last year, 20%.
I'm sorry, real fast. I'm trying to take notes. PRRI, what did it stand for?
It's the Public Religion Research Institute.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up.
Please do, thank you. Stop me anytime. So 2024, this is showing that 20% of Texans now consider themselves non-religious. And it's a fire alarm.
Oh no, that's the they're going to be going to the floor in 30 minutes.
Okay.
So that goes off every day, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and then yes.
Oh, how fun. You probably didn't even hear it. It's just
It's funny. I
background
kind
noise
of
to you.
did. So he said fire
Like,
alarm.
what are you
I
talking
thought-
about?
I thought.
Oh.
For a moment I thought, wait, did I just like dissociate? Was there, what's he talking about fire
That's
alarms
great.
for?
So I mentioned that 20% of Texans consider themselves as non-religious, and that's in Texas, which is saying something. But
Yeah.
nationally, the non-religious make up almost 1 in 3 Americans, and I'm one of them. Some current legislation that imposes a particular religion or religious practice on our children and thus infringes on our religious freedom include, this is HB 1009. This requires the biblical 10 Commandments in the classroom. There's also HB 1348, which also requires the Ten Commandments in the classroom. And then finally, HB 1425. This establishes a daily period of prayer in school. So these bills are part of a larger pattern of disturbing political actions we're observing that are slowly stripping true religious freedom from our state. They seek to promote one version of Christianity through legislation which is unconstitutional and un-American. No one should be coerced to live by someone else's doctrine. So my plea is to vote no if you see these bills come across your committee or chamber floor. Now, there are some proposed bills that do advocate for religious equity and reason that we would ask you to support. And these include HB 1390, which requires the school to notify parents and guardians of religious instruction in the classroom, and SB 168. This enforces disciplinary action to mental health professionals who attempt to change the sexual orientation of a child. So it's very important to me and my community that the state remain neutral in all matters of religious freedom, including the right to have no religion. And that's why I'm here today. And I also wanted to thank Mark for his hard work and consideration in these matters.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for sharing your story, how you came here. I appreciate the notes. And also appreciate, on issues like this, a lot of times it's really easy for people to get, people who've been hurt by the church, who've been hurt by organized religion. It's very easy to bring the frustration or anger in to the conversation. And I just want to say, obviously we're going to be on opposite sides of a lot of issues. I really appreciate your politeness and your straightforwardness, because even with people that we're supposed to agree with, we don't get that a lot. And so I do appreciate it. It does mean a lot. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying something on that too, so acknowledging it.
Yeah.
And also,
I was going to say, I am a Christian, and I identify as a Christian. I raise my kids as Christian in church, and I'm here because I don't want I don't want I don't want government involvement in my spiritual welfare either, or my children. I believe that I should be teaching my kids how to pray, raise them in a great school district. But even in that great school district, there were coaches who had some prayers. I'm like, oh, that's not exactly how we pray, honey. Things like that. I just think that there are as many people, or there are as many ways to worship God as there are people to worship God. And if we take the tack of allowing religion in, it soon becomes, well, how? Which way should that religion lean? Is it going to be Catholic? Is it going to be Baptist? Is it going to be somewhere in between?
is it going to be Islam? Is it going to be anything else?
And I believe very strongly that there's a lot of inequality in that. And I don't want the scripture that I hold, that I revere, to be manipulated by somebody else, which happens anytime you have somebody with an agenda. And so I don't want politics manipulating my beliefs.
Right.
So we also, I would add to the 1390, if that includes the Blue Bonnet curriculum, we want that notice to go, because the Blue Bonnet curriculum we already know is already out there. And then vouchers. Vouchers are inherently on their face unfair and inequitable. I'm not sure if you are aware of the numbers, but for what the state is currently giving school districts for public schools is $6,500 per child per year, and that comes with constraints like attendance. If there's any drop of attendance, then there's a drop in funding. There's also constraints like teacher certification, and there's also the requirement for standardized testing to have a quantitative measure. I kind of think those are good things. Both of those are good things. But then you take the private school vouchers and you're offering $10,000 per student per year without any kind of monitoring of the teaching that's being done. The teachers are not required to be certified. There's no curriculum that's required to pass muster with the State Board of Education, and there's no attendance ding if the kids all decide to go on spring break or to go skiing or something. So there's no requirement. There's not the same level of accountability, and yet they're getting more money on its face. I'm not sure. My background is I'm an attorney, and I'm sure you've heard of the Brown versus Board of Education. Well, that's our current legal precedent, right? Well, the one before that was Plessy v. Ferguson, and Plessy basically said separate but equal is still equal. This standard doesn't even reach Plessy because it's not even equal, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So on its face, I believe it's unconstitutional. And it's absolutely establishing whatever private, especially if it's used for parochial schools. And I'm a product. Hey, I went to private and public schools. And I homeschooled a kid. Anyway, but thank you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, I did not catch your name.
Amy Slaughter.
Amy Slaughter.
I'm in a different district.
But A-okay, Amy, you still have a voice.
Thank you. We're friends.
So yeah, we care enough about this to travel, to take a day or two off of work,
Right.
or travel to Austin on a Tuesday to give voice to this. So yeah, thank you for giving us the time.
Miserably rainy Tuesday.
Right, all of it. It doesn't get away. We think it's very important. So yeah, thank you for giving us the time.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm just here with a little Valentine's delivery from
All right.
Blackridge.
Thank you.
I'm fine.
Plenty of candy for everyone.
We're Englishing her.
And I'll extend an invitation. If we can ever be a resource for this topic, if something comes up, you say, "Oh, is this a problem? Church-state separation." Well, use it as a resource. We can answer that question pretty quickly and do the work for you. So.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Brian and Amy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really forgive me.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, Will. Yeah.
Will, okay. Yeah, no, thank you for putting this together. And again, I'm really impressed. Most activist groups, when there's a group this large, my heart rate goes way up.
Yeah.
Because you go, oh man, this is not going to be fun. This is not going to be, generally there's a lot of anger and there's a lot of, you need to do this now. And I just work here, guys. And so I really appreciate the personal connection and the expertise background and the mutual respect. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I would offer y'all waters. There's a lot of you, and we're almost out. So
We just left one.
oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Bill, thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks, man. Brian, thank you so much. Oh, since you're a constituent, I'm gonna make sure you have my card.
Yeah, please.
Ever have any troubles with government, anything like that? Generally, I handle constituent issues, so like I have trouble renewing your driver's license, which is the most common thing I deal with. I'm more than happy to help you in any way I can.
So
Okay.
he's back at the district. He can contact you. This
Yeah.
is the contact.
Yeah. So we don't have a specific district office line. It'll just end here, but we'll get you helped out any way we can.
Awesome.
Right on.
Yeah.